In this video, I will be explaining about what is gravity, who found it, and how it is very important in our day-to-day lives. First, let me start. Who found this gravity? Who termed this gravity? Mr. Isaac Newton was the person who termed gravity and defined gravity. How did he find out gravity? It was believed that he was sitting under a tree and was seeing the skies. That's when an apple fell on him. He wondered, why didn't the apple stay up in the air? Why it fell down? And he also had thoughts that if the earth can pull the apple, then why can't the earth pull the moon which is near it? Now, let us say that this is a box. This box, we know that it has 3 dimensions. Now, this box is a matter. Now, let me explain what is matter. Matter is something that has mass and occupies space. Now, if this box was a form of matter, then it would have mass and will occupy some space. So, what will be the mass of this object? Let us assume that the mass of this object is 10 kg. This 10 kg is the mass of the object. But what will be the weight? As I told you in my previous video that the mass of an object should be multiplied by 9.8 times because it is the acceleration due to gravity, which I will be explaining later in this video. So if 10 kg was the mass of this object, then how will you calculate the gravity acting upon the object or the gravity produced by the object? So this is an important fact that you have to remember, that anything that is a matter will process gravity. All the things that have mass will process gravity. Gravity is nothing but a force putting everything towards it. Larger the mass, larger gravity, and so on. So the formula for finding the gravity of the object is, force is equal to gravitation, which is g, into the mass of an object, and the mass, the smaller m, that is the mass of the other object, divided by distance square. Now let me explain this formula to you. So first, let us assume that there is an object and the mass of this object is m. And let us assume that there is another object which is a smaller one, and this object's mass is a smaller m. So how will you substitute these values? Let us say this m's mass is 10 kg, as I told you before, and this m's mass is 5 kg. Now we have to find the force, and the force is equal to, as per the formula, gravitation into the mass of the first object, that is 10 kg, into mass of the second object, that is 5 kg, divided by distance square. So what is this distance square? The distance square, the d, is the distance between these two objects, and square it. Let us assume that the distance between these two objects is 2 meters. Or let's say it is 2 kilometers, because we have to substitute the values of the uppercase and the lowercase. As the uppercase is in kgs, we have to keep the lowercase 2 in kg so that it will be easier for us to calculate. Now let us say it is 2 kilometers distance of these two objects. Then what will be the square of this distance? The square of the distance is 2 into 2, 4. So here's an important fact that you should remember. If the distance between two objects is very far, then the gravity between them will also be weaker. Therefore, lesser the distance, more the gravity. Now we know most of the values for finding the force. But how do we find this gravity? That's a very important question. So gravity is constant around the earth. It may differ from point to point but in a very little amount. So the gravity constant is 9.8. So we can substitute this value in this gravity. So we can now assume that gravity's value is 9.8. This will be common throughout the world, meaning that the force we can find out using this value. But what if you actually need to find the gravity of another object, not of these two objects but some other object and a force? Then you will have to find out another formula that will tell you that will be derived from this formula. First, let's solve this problem. Now, if the gravity is 9.8, so here 9.8 into 10 will be 98 into 5 divided by d square, that is 4. If you multiply these two values, then we will get 490. And 490 divided by 4, it would be 122.5. So we know that it is 122.5. But what is this 122.5? This 122.5 is the force, or it can be written as newtons. Therefore, the numerical value will be 122.5 newtons, that is N. Now, for the second formula, which is the first and foremost for finding the gravity. We know that this is the formula for finding the force using gravity, mass of two objects, and the distance between them. How will we find this gravity, and how is the second formula derived? First, now we know that this is the formula. Let's now start deriving the second formula from it. We know that force is equal to gravity into mass of two objects by d square. Now, I'm going to take this gravity this side, meaning that it will be 1 by gravity into force is equal to right hand side, that is RHS. So now, we know that the 1 by gravity into force is equal to RHS, that is mass of two objects multiplied divided by distance squared. Then now the right hand side is already know that mass and divided by distance. So 1 by gravity will be as it is, and this force will go to the right hand side, meaning that 1 by gravity will be equal to mass into the other mass divided by distance squared into the F will become here 1 by F. And now if you substitute these values, then it will become m into m divided by 1 and multiplied by 1 and d square multiplied by force. So what will this result in? 1 by g is equal to m into m divided by f d squared. So how can we make this even more simpler instead of 1g? If we make this even more simpler, then it would be g is equal to fd square by m into m. How did I come to this? I just inversed the formula by 1 by g and divided and inversed it, which was before m into m divided by fd square, and now it is fd square divided by m into m. This is the formula for finding gravity of any object. You can try this way by multiplying the mass of you and your friends and the distance between yourselves and your friend and the force. So therefore we can find out the gravity possessed on the object by another object. And these are the two formulas that I told I'll be discussing with you today. I hope you learn these formulas very well and it will be very useful in various fields. How will they be useful? We can find out the gravitational effect of an object. Let's say that this is Earth or the Moon. Let's take it is Moon. And what will the gravitational force will be possessing by the Moon to other objects? Like let's say an asteroid is there and how will this asteroid get affected by the gravity of the moon? If the asteroid's gravity is less weaker than the moon, then it is high chance that, and if it is having a very less distance, it may fall right on the moon. And this is why we see many craters on the moon, which are due to the asteroid crashes and many more other events. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.